You're listening to Blast Podcasting, Episode 5.
Aquaman Review. Hey guys, it's Anthony.
And this is Xander.
How goes it, buddy?
Goes pretty good. I'm going to start this episode telling you an anime you need to check out.
Okay.
Me and my girlfriend, we actually just finished season 1. It's 12 episodes. It's an anime called High Score Girl on Netflix.
High Score Girl, okay.
It's an arcade anime based off the 90s.
Oh.
Oh man, dude, it is so good. Like, it follows this kid, he's this huge gamer, he finds out this one girl that's from a really rich family. She gets into video games and she's like a prodigy. She doesn't really talk a whole lot. There's a little bit of love interest there, a little bit of awkwardness, but most importantly, there is a lot of video game references from the 90s, and I'm talking about like PC Engine, Neo Geo.
Oh, shit.
There's a lot to do with Street Fighter 2 in this. I mean, and it's talking, and what I like about it is it shows, when they're playing the arcades, it shows actual gameplay footage of the video games, and they do kind of like a little introduction / review when they talk about the games. Right? Oh yeah, we're playing Kadash. Kadash was this, RPG game on the arcades where you could pick these different classes, and they do little stuff like that. And I thought it was really, really good. I cannot recommend it enough.
Oh, okay, I have a question for you,
yes.
And I'm specifically talking about the book because my hatred of Ready Player One, the book, is notorious, as you know, right?
Right.
Does it handle references better than that piece of shit?
Yes.
Okay, that's
yes.
all. Then the book. I'll say the movie isn't bad though. I like the movie to a degree.
Yeah. I mean, like Ready Player One has that same problem that like the show Big Bang Theory has, where it's this kind of shoehorning and dorky / geeky references just to, fill in blank space. Like I did notice that about the book, and this anime doesn't do that, and that's what I really like about it. It adds a lot of little inside jokes for those who grew up in the 90s playing arcades. Add a little stuff to it, and you're like, oh, okay, this is pretty fun. But yeah, I cannot recommend it enough. But yeah, it's on Netflix. Really good.
I will definitely check it out. I have another recommendation for you, though, my friend. And High School Girl, right? I mean, High Score Girl. What the fuck? Okay, High Score Girl. So, yesterday I have two kind of recommendations, I guess. First one is I saw Bumblebee.
Oh, yeah?
And in the course of this review, I'll probably do some comparisons. But I will tell you, it is the best, hands down. It's the second best Transformers movie behind the 1986 animated film.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty close to it.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it. Like it's so funny. Like people are like, "Wow, this is actually a live action Transformers that's good." And I mean, it's not directed by Michael Bay. That is one thing that I will say.
And the terrible humor that he uses, like dog humping and all that dumb shit.
Yeah.
The humor is actually really good and clever. And the human, like, I've always thought in the Bay Transformers films, the humans weren't necessary. But in this one, it works. The human characters work, especially the main character. She's great.
Well, one of the things I like about Bumblebee, I mean, because I haven't seen it yet, but one of the things I like about the previews is they actually added color to the Transformers. So when the Transformers fight, it's not just like this big ball of like metal that's just going crazy.
And they look like Transformers.
Yes.
Not fucking their faces string of cords and, metal like in those other movies. But this was a really good film. Really, really good film. And I highly recommend it. And, with your girlfriend, you should go see it. They'll give you something to watch.
Oh, yeah.
Her. So,
what was your other recommendation?
I don't know if it's so much a recommendation. It's heavy on my mind though, and it's pretty prevalent in pop culture. I was watching it last night, and I'm kind of in a foul mood because of it. And that's Surviving R. Kelly.
Oh, what is this?
You haven't heard about this documentary? It's all
No.
over the news.
Oh, dude, I haven't been paying attention to any news lately.
Well, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know R. Kelly, the R&B singer?
Yeah.
It's a 6-part documentary, and it documents women who have survived his abuse.
Oh, wow.
And it is fucked up.
Damn.
Now, there's a few R. Kelly songs I dug, but I can't. Look, I've always been able to separate the artist, for the most part,
Yeah.
from the art, which is a discussion I think is important to have.
Right.
But in this case, I can't do it.
Yeah, there's a certain line you have to draw,
Jesus.
you know? It's like one thing of like, yeah, you know, an artist did a lot of drugs, but when they start like doing some questionable things with minors and stuff like that, yeah.
And I'll be honest, I'm a guy who you know how I am. I'm very skeptical of everything.
Right.
And I'm not skeptical with just science and religion. I'm skeptical of media representation. And one of those, and don't want to get too controversial, is some of the Me Too allegations, you know?
Yeah.
That. But this is one that I definitely believe, because the women in it were very sincere. They broke down. You can tell they were not comfortable talking about this. And just the shit he did. And there's clear evidence of what he did. There's a videotape.
Wow.
Yeah, it's ugly, but I only recommend it on the basis of showing the positive side of this, I guess, Me Too movement.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's good that this is coming to light, because it's been going
Right.
on for far too long. And I'm not even done with it. I still have 2 episodes, and I don't know if I can finish it. I'm not easily disturbed, but fuck.
Yeah, that's some heavy shit. Some crazy
Yeah,
stuff.
sorry for being a downer today. But I just thought, you know, people should be aware of it. And, you know, I would, if I were you, if you're curious, watch at least the first episode. If not, yeah, it's the good news, though, is a DA in some county is actually reopening a case against R. Kelly because of this documentary. So
that's really good.
Yeah. So didn't mean to get controversial, because I mean, it's funny. Ever since I restarted my YouTube channel, I've said I'm not going to get controversial. Look what I'm doing.
Well, I mean, it happens. It's all good.
Yeah.
Nothing
At least I'm not.
Nothing wrong.
YouTuber.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a little bit of controversy. I mean,
No.
But yeah. Now then the meat and potatoes of this episode though is going to be talking about Aquaman. I saw Aquaman last Tuesday.
I did as well.
And,
New Year's Day.
Yep, I saw it, and I got some crazy thoughts about it. But I'll start with you, Anthony. First off, I do want to say that this review is going to have spoilers, and here's why it's going to have spoilers. The movie's been out for a while now. Also, the movie's almost at $1 billion in box office sales. I feel like anyone who really wanted to see Aquaman has already seen it. Mm-hmm. Is that wrong to think?
Not at all. I agree 100% with that sentiment.
Because and this is going to be my little controversial thing, is like I feel like some people, when it comes to movies and spoils or TV shows and stuff like that, I can't tell if they're genuinely not wanting to be spoiled or if they just want attention. Because like a good example would be Star Wars, and I got under a lot of hot water with Last Jedi. And the reason why was because there were spoilers that were already popping up online, and I was telling people, hey, if you really don't want to be spoiled, stay the hell off Facebook. You know, wait till you go see the movie, then go on Facebook. You can still go on Facebook Messenger and talk to your friends, but, you know, just stay off the main part of Facebook until you go see the movie.
That caused controversy? Because I've said that too.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I do.
People were so pissed. They're like, how dare you tell us what to do? I'm like, it's logic. It's logic.
I agree 100% with your sentiment.
As are you that addicted to social media that you can't stay off looking at the wall and you might get spoiled of a movie that's supposed to mean so much to you? You know?
Exactly. Well, one, I don't have a Facebook anymore, which is okay for me, so I don't have that problem.
Yeah.
And personally for me, I love it. I love not having a Facebook.
I can understand that, yeah.
I fucking love it. But your advice is sound, because had done that. One of my most anticipated movies of 2017 was It, the It movie.
Yeah.
And I stayed off, and I didn't just stay off social media. I stayed off even putting it in a search engine.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you have to do.
Yeah, exactly. Because spoilers will show up even before the movie's released.
Yep. And I mean, there are dicks out there. Like, I know when Logan came out, there was like a meme that was like telling you ingredients, and at the very end it was like, and Logan dies. You know, there's stuff like that, and I think those people are complete assholes. But, you know, there's been times that I saw a movie a week later, I went on there and I'm like, this movie was awesome, or I posted something about it, and so I was like, oh, you spoiled it for me. I'm like, dude, the movie's been out for a week. Go see it. It's like Aquaman is about almost a 3-hour movie. Take 3 hours out of your whole life and go see the movie. You know?
Before we get into Aquaman, I got a funny story to tell you.
Okay.
I was on a message board a couple years ago, and we were talking Final Fantasy VII, and I mentioned, what's the most famous scene from Final Fantasy VII, Xander?
Of course, Aerith dying.
Yeah, I mentioned that, and someone got mad at me for spoiling it for him.
Oh, God.
Who the fuck does not know that does not happen?
Yeah, like, even people who don't play Final Fantasy VII know about that. It's like, come on now.
But here's the fun fact about that, though, is people did get that spoiled back in 1997, and this was kind of fucked up. The strategy guide for Final Fantasy VII, the official strategy guide,
oh wow,
had whole story spoilers in the guide for whatever reason.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So it would be like, you know, when you escape from the Shinra building, well, they decide to go to Nif, whatever that one town is. I forgot what it's called. Fuck. But you know what I mean. And they would explain, like, summarize the story up to that point. And it's like, why?
Oh gosh.
But yeah, other than that, I just have to throw that in.
But yeah, like, so yes, listeners, there are going to be spoilers. If you haven't seen the movie yet and you don't want to get spoiled, you can always come back and listen to us, and type out your own comments and commentary about what you think about the movie. But yes, we are talking about the movie itself, spoilers and everything. So, Anthony, in hindsight, what did you think of Aquaman? Like, in hindsight, like, just as a whole.
It's good, but it's not a horrible movie. But it has some problems.
Mm-hmm.
And even though I understood pretty much 100% of the references and where all those characters are coming, I will say one thing that summarizes that film is it's overwhelming as fuck.
Yes.
And I will tell you why. Because I don't know, you're not very familiar with Aquaman, right?
Right. So that's another good thing about this review, because I don't know a whole lot about Aquaman outside of, watching Justice League cartoons or like Super Friends and stuff like that. That's my education on Aquaman.
Well, when you start with a superhero film, I think a franchise. Let's go to another DC film, Man of Steel, one that we're fans of.
Yeah.
You don't throw in a lot of the mythology. You let the mythology start small.
Mm-hmm.
And then in other films, you expand it and build it and build it and build it and build it. Right?
Right.
Okay. Which I will say this. That's why Batman, Superman, Man of Steel did it very well. And then I think Batman v Superman, which had a lot of little things. But it wasn't just Superman mythos, okay? Keep that in mind. It was DC Comics mythos, so it was able to get away with it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
The problem with Aquaman is it threw in so many things in the mythos of Aquaman. For example, those creatures, the Trench? That's a separate Aquaman villain. Really has nothing to do with Ocean Master. Then, of course, you got Ocean Master. You got the Trench. You got Black Manta. You got the Sea Pirates. Then you got all the fishermen and the crab people, and then you got that big godlike Leviathan-like creature, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got all of that. And all those are separate Aquaman antagonists, or just, I guess, plot devices for separate Aquaman plots that stand on their own.
Yeah, see that's something that I was kind of gathering when I was watching it, because I will say one thing, and I could be wrong about this, but I feel like they really fucked over Black Manta. Like Black Manta, his whole his whole reason in the movie, it was just like, why was he even in this? Like, why did this even happen? Because you meet him in the beginning of the movie, and his dad gets killed because Aquaman refused to save him. Like, okay, all right, that's going to spawn Black Manta, and I was like, that'd be great for like a sequel. Have sequel of Black Manta. Okay, awesome. But no, they throw him in a very fluff fighting scene, and he gets killed in or not killed, but defeated in about 30 minutes. It's like, really?
Yeah.
I hate it when superhero movies do that.
What it should have done, I think he should have been in the movie, but he shouldn't have become Black Manta.
Yeah.
Right away. And that again, that's the thing. They threw in everything. And it's weird. I don't know if they did that because this was the last shot of the DCEU because of the failure of Justice League financially, or the reputation of Aquaman. It's like, yeah, see what Aquaman has. He has all this cool shit.
Yeah.
And while I kind of get that, the Aquaman mythos is something you should slowly build up.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel they did that. It's just like, Jesus Christ, everything, And that's funny because we were just talking about Transformers, right?
Right.
And that's been the problem with those Transformers movies. They just throw everything in them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you know why Bumblebee was so good?
Why was that?
Because they scaled down the Transformers so much.
Yeah, because they did. What did they do? They did stick to Generation 1 Transformers, right?
Well, not only that, but the amount of them. Like, aside from a big battle scene on Cybertron at the beginning of it, I'll be careful there. But there's literally 4 Transformers in the whole movie.
See, that's not bad. Because that leaves room for character development and getting to know a character. Because there were so many characters in Aquaman. There was so much going on that either the characters felt really bland, or I can't even remember their names. It was like that one red-haired guy that was the king. That was his daughter was
Dolph
the other
Lundgren.
red. Yeah, and it's like, and the redhead girl, which was like her, daughter, and it was love interest. I was like, okay, and then you got William Dafoe.
Yeah, they it's astounding what they threw in, and I think what people should do right now is, if you enjoyed the movie, and I think you should go do this, is go buy, and they're easy to get. You could buy it online or whatever. Buy the first couple volumes of New 52 Aquaman.
Yeah.
And there you can see, because the one thing the movie did is, Aquaman's not a lame character in the movie by any means. That's not my problem. I thought he was a badass, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, there was some parts, and mainly it was the beginning. I don't know what they were doing in the beginning, but I felt like the beginning of Aquaman was cheesy as fuck. It was like every time he did an action, he would pose in front of the camera, and you hear a guitar and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And DC had a bad habit of doing that with Wonder Woman too. I don't know why they kept doing that. Like in Wonder Woman, she'd do something, look at the camera, and you're
Yeah.
I hate that.
Well. See, look at Wonder Woman. I think that's a far better movie than Aquaman.
Oh yeah.
And you know why? Because it doesn't throw everything.
Yeah.
And that was. Look, and it sounds like I'm shitting on it. I'm not, because I did enjoy the film to a degree.
Yeah, we'll talk about we'll definitely talk about the things that we like about the movie. Right now, we're just going through the ugly.
Yeah, the ugly, and I think the one thing about this film is, when I was watching it too, the humor felt out of place in certain parts.
Yes,
and I know you didn't like how quickly Black Manta got beaten, but I thought that fight was kind of cool.
Oh, it was.
It was cool, except there's one problem. There's that toilet joke. that pulled you out.
Yeah.
And you know what? That I was talking to my best friend about this yesterday after he and I got out of Bumblebee, and I love the 2017. I'm gonna bring a comparison to that for a second, okay?
All right.
I think that movie. Have you seen it? You probably have.
What movie was that?
It 2017.
Oh yeah.
Okay. That movie is brilliant. It has perfect atmosphere and everything. It has one flaw. And there's this flaw where they're in one of the kids' bedrooms, and he's a New Kids on the Block fan, and they shut the door, and they show a poster, and they play like a riff of a New Kids on the Block. And that completely takes you out of the movie because that atmosphere is somber, dreadful, and scary. The whole movie, before and after that one scene. And that's what I thought the toilet scene did. It took you out of this action-packed scene for just a dumb fucking joke.
Yeah. And I mean, like, some of the like one-liners of even Aquaman, it was just kind of like, oh, because I mean, is it just me, or is it felt like in certain parts of the movie, it felt like just that Aquaman, like Jason Momoa's Aquaman, was like badass, but he was really stupid around everyone else. Like everyone else constantly had to like correct him and tell him this or tell him that, and it was just kind of like, okay, we get it. He doesn't know what he's doing, but after a while, it's just like, holy shit, man.
Yeah, I can see that. And I think another thing with it too is DC stopped trying to be like fucking Marvel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just stop it. This is exactly why I don't like Marvel films, because they do all that dumb shit.
Yeah.
And I guess it's kind of expected in those movies, but because I'm a purist to the comics, I never feel dread for those characters.
Well, here's the difference between Marvel doing it and DC doing it. Marvel, it's kind of normal and we expect it, and it could be something that we like and don't like. DC, they do it, and it's just like, dude, you're trying to be like Marvel. Like, just stop. If that makes any sense.
Right. But what's the crazy thing, though, is how successful this movie is.
Yeah, and I think that'd be good to get into the things that we like about the movie.
Yeah.
The movie is fucking beautiful. It is such a good-looking movie. Like, there were parts of it I was like, I looked at my girlfriend, I'm like, is this underwater Star Wars? Like, when they had the seahorses and the lasers and the sharks, and I almost felt like they were recreating the end of The Last Hope on the Death Star at some parts with the X-Wings and shit. It was crazy.
There were some really good scenes in that movie. I think one of the best scenes was the Coliseum fight.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that
was badass. Yeah,
that was badass because one, it wasn't hindered by any dumb humor. It was a pretty tense scene. And I like some of the character relationships. The relationship between Mara, the redhead girl, and Aquaman worked well. The relationship between him and his dad worked well, and the relationship between him and Orm worked well.
Yeah.
And him and Volko, who is William Dafoe. And mind you, I only know the character's name because I'm a Aquaman comic book fan. Otherwise, I'd be as lost as you are, my friend.
Yeah, I was like the William Dafoe and the redheaded chick, and yeah.
But that scene was great. The scene with the trench when they're on the boat, you could tell James Wan gets. If you ever seen like The Conjuring or anything like that scene is filmed like exactly one of his horror movies. You could tell he exercised his horror movie chops because James Wan is a horror movie director. To those that may have forgotten, I mean, this is the guy who created Saw, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And you can definitely tell that Warner Brothers just gave him money, and they're like, "Go make a movie," because this movie, like, it's got so much to it. And I mean, like, I felt like the 3 hours was a little much. I felt like it was like there was certain parts I was like, okay. I was like kind of looking at my clock. I was kind of sick a little bit at the time I watched the movie, so it was a couple of times I almost fell asleep, just sitting in the movie theater chair. But yeah, I mean, like, you could just tell that they just gave him full reign, and they're like, "Go have fun, kid. Go make a movie." Because I mean, there's just so much ambition with the movie. Now, we'll say that there's a lot of ambition, a lot of great cinematography. The movie itself is beautiful. Like, it looks great.
Yeah, I think there were a lot of working components, and I would say it's not a complete Marvel movies because there were some scenes of levity in it.
Mm-hmm.
There were a lot of scenes of levity that were super serious. Because that, again, that's my other problem. Fuck, I was gonna say Mario. I'm looking at my Switch because my Switch is on, and I see Smash Brothers on there. It's not on, but the hub screen, and I saw Mario, so I was gonna say Mario. so anyway. With the Marvel movie, my whole thing with that is there's no scenes of levity or anything like that, or seriousness. They don't really get in depth. And I felt there were scenes like that in Aquaman.
Yeah.
Like, particularly about, him being a half-breed and stuff like that, and, the racial issues that were permeate in the story.
Yeah, and I really like the beginning with his parents. Like, the story with his parents was really touching, too.
Yeah. That was really good. And I thought the ending was pretty strong, too.
Mm-hmm.
It had a good beginning. It had a really good ending. That final battle was fucking badass.
It really was.
But, not to get back to the negative, it was pretty overwhelming, though.
Yeah. Yeah, and I will say this. It's like, the main thing that I had with Aquaman is, like, when I walked out of the theater, usually when I see a superhero movie and I walk out of the theater, I kind of have like this little bit of a hypeness to it. I'm kind of like, oh man, dude, that was fucking awesome. Especially if I went to the movies with somebody. I'm like, what was your favorite part? Oh man, that part there. But it was like when me and my girlfriend walked out of Aquaman, we were just kind of like, okay, well that's done. All right, you want to go back home? Okay, I got a little bit more time before I go to work. It was, and that was kind of a red flag for me. That's what made me be like, well, maybe Aquaman wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be.
Well, I agree with that, because when you walk out of the movies, I have three reactions. It's either what the fuck, which was my reaction to Last Jedi last Christmas. What the fuck did I watch? That's bad if I say that. What the fuck did I watch? It's good. And fuck yeah. I did It's Good with Aquaman. But I did fuck yeah with Bumblebee. Oh,
yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, that was the thing, like, like her, she didn't like it as much as I did. Like, she was like, wow, that was not a good superhero movie. And I'm like, it was okay. It was all right, But she is, like, the same parts, like the one part where they go, I guess they're, like, in Italy, and it's like that one little lovey-dovey scene with him and the chick, and she gets the Pinocchio book. She like leaned over and she's like, "What is this? A fucking Olive Garden commercial?" I was just like, "Well, you got a point there." I mean, it was like little stuff they added to the movie. It was just like, was this completely necessary? Like, did you have to add this in there? But
oh shit,
it's like, where's the breadsticks and salad?
I know. Unlimited breadsticks and salad.
Oh, yes.
Get it right, Xander. Get it right. Shit. Anyway, we can agree, though, that Olive Garden itself gets a good review, right? Or no?
Yeah. Olive Garden's good.
Yeah, Olive Garden is good. But, we're having too much fun with this. But just to say, I will recommend some Aquaman books, though, to the audience, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
So, DC has been re-releasing a lot of Aquaman lately. I think it's safe to say, despite our feelings of the movie, which we thought it was good, it wasn't bad.
Yeah.
The one thing that this does to Aquaman, who I've known for years, and Xander has known, I've told him this throughout the last 5 years I've known him, that Aquaman is a badass.
Yeah.
And I think this movie kills this reputation of the character, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I think out of everything, this is the best thing about the movie, is it shows that Aquaman is more than just some guy who can speak dolphin.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, in the New 52, he loses his fucking arm and gets a freaking trident as an arm.
I'll have to correct you there. Not New 52.
Oh,
that's in the 90s. But that's part of the recommended reading I have for you, though.
Okay.
So, but keep going. Go ahead.
But yeah, like, it really shows that it was more to it than just, I can talk to sea animals. I can speak clownfish,
or get tied up in fucking 6-pack wrappers.
Yeah, exactly.
Shit. But yeah, it does do that. And for those that want to explore because I'm a big Aquaman fan outside of this film.
Yeah.
Because I'm a big DC fan, but Aquaman's in my like top 5 DC characters. So for recommendations, let's start where you started, Xander. The Trident Hand.
Mm-hmm.
It's part of what is called the Peter David run. For those that don't know what a run is in comic books lingo, a run is referred to a writer. So when you say Peter David run, that's who wrote it. And he wrote a miniseries called Tied Through Time, 1 through 4, and then he wrote a Aquaman series, 1 through like 46, 47. DC has been collecting them for the last year or so. Okay. And those are being collected in trade paperback. You can read those for sure. And I would recommend them because they are badass. They are pretty dark. And Peter David's an established writer. For those that may not know about him so much, he's the guy who reinvented the Hulk for Marvel and wrote Hulk for 10 years. In fact, I still think he was writing Hulk when he was writing Aquaman, to be honest.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, I will say that he is one of the premier comic book writers still writing today. And his Aquaman's great. That's with the hook hand and such. I'm not familiar with Aquaman past that until probably the New 52. I'll be straight. The New 52 Aquaman is badass. The first 6 volumes of the New 52 Aquaman I would skip volume 7 and 8 because they suck. But they're not very good. But
you're like, I would skip them because they suck. I'm like, that's good to know.
Yeah, it is. But 1 through 6 is very good. And then because that's the Jeff Johns run, and Jeff Johns, there's not much to say about him. He's one of the premier writers in comic books, hands down. And then there was the DC Rebirth Aquaman, which is still going on, and it's still fucking awesome.
Nice.
And that's on issue 42, 43 now, I think. So, and those are getting collected. So those would be my recommended Aquaman readings.
Nice.
So Xander, you should at least get the New 52 Aquaman.
Yeah, I definitely should check those out. Because, I mean, like I said, other than watching, like, Justice League cartoons and stuff, because, they'd have Aquaman on the Justice League cartoons, and he was pretty cool on that. And didn't they make a DC animated movie on Aquaman?
Stones of Atlantis, which is based off of a New 52 story arc, which is in those collections I mentioned.
Yeah, I might check that out too.
Yeah, that's a good movie. Another thing too about let's talk about the Trident Hand. What do you think of the Trident Hand or the hook hand?
Yeah, I thought that was freaking badass.
Because
first time I saw it, I was just like, wow, yeah, this is cool. It was a big middle finger to the folks that were just like, oh, Aquaman's, lame, blah, blah, blah. He's like, no, he's got a freaking trident arm. Look at that shit. You
remember how he got in the cartoon, huh? Him and his son were chained.
Mm-hmm.
And they were going to let him die, and he broke one of the manacles holding him, but he couldn't break the other one, so he cut his hand off.
Oh, shit.
That's in the cartoon. Do you want to know how he got in the comic book?
How's that?
This is, I think, the first or second issue of the Peter David run. He was fighting someone, and he has the same ability to summon fish. And he stuck Aquaman's arm into the water and summoned piranhas. Now, you know what happened to his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's pretty gruesome.
That's pretty odd. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so he gets the hook hand that way.
Huh. Well, I was about to say, because I'm looking at time right now, and I would say, if you could give Aquaman a score, what would you give it? Like, let's say a 1 out of 10.
I give it a 6 or 7.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say, about 7. Because I don't think it's a terrible movie. A matter of fact, a lot of people I've talked to, they've been like, "Oh, you saw Aquaman? How was it?" I'm like, "Just get it on Blu-ray. Just red box it."
It's a good film. It's not like I said. It's a much more refreshing experience than my last holiday Christmas experience, which was The Last Jedi, which gets a 0.
Yeah.
So there's that. And, to be honest, this holiday had a lot more variety in terms of films, I thought.
My favorite part of Aquaman, though, was?
What was that?
My absolute favorite part of Aquaman was seeing motherfucking Godzilla 2 King of Monsters trailer.
Holy shit. Let's talk about... No, you know what?
Yeah.
How much time do we got? Do we got at least 5 minutes?
Yeah, we can talk about that.
Let's talk about that, because that... You know what? That is my most anticipated fucking movie of this year.
Me too.
And that looks like a bleak movie, which I like. I like dark stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It looks desperate, and they nailed those characters. Those monsters.
Yeah, like when freaking Rodan is like flying through the city and his wings are just catching the whole city on fire. And like the size of freaking Ghidorah. Like, holy shit, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You pronounce it Ghidorah? I thought it was Ghidorah.
I've always said Ghidorah.
Huh. Ghidorah. My friends and I say Ghidorah.
I'm probably saying it wrong. But
I could be saying it wrong too.
But that scene where, a lot of people said it was kind of out of place, the scene where you saw Ghidorah or Ghidorah, Monster Zero for all you old school folks out there.
I like that movie too.
Oh yeah, Monster Zero is awesome. But, seeing the part where him and Godzilla were like running towards each other, I know some people were like, man, it looked kind of awkward seeing, Godzilla run. But I thought that was freaking awesome.
Wait, people are complaining about that trailer?
Well, just that one part. A lot of people were like, oh, that was kind of cringy. I'm like, no, that was freaking awesome.
But then again, I got to get this out of my system. Give me a minute, Xander. I apologize for this. You know how they announced the new NES games yesterday for the Switch?
Yeah.
I went on to the video, and I hardly read comments, and I realized yesterday why.
Mm.
How many people were bitching about it.
Oh, yeah.
About free games. Let's bitch about free games.
Yeah.
And we only get 2 games. And Japan does get 3. I guess that's a little fucked up. But still, they're free. Well, they're not free, but $20 a year for Nintendo games, and people still want the virtual console back?
Yeah.
We'll talk about that when we talk about in a future episode. I just have to say that because it boggles my mind. How can you bitch about that trailer?
Yeah, it was great, and I'm just really looking forward to the human interaction too. One of the things I liked about Godzilla 2014 is I thought they had a pretty decent human cast, especially Bryan Cranston. He was awesome in it. But the second one, now we had the chick from Stranger Things.
Yeah,
she's going to be in it. And I'm like, she's a really good actress. So I'm really curious to see how this young kid is going to be going through this catastrophic, Titan war with Godzilla and Mothra, Rodan, and how is this going to happen? And I absolutely love Mothra. Mothra looks so freaking awesome. I've always been a big Mothra fan.
You know what my one disappointment is, Xander?
No twins?
No Jet Jaguar.
Oh, yeah. I thought you were going to say no
Ultraman ripoffs.
I was going to say, I thought you were going to say no twins singing to the Mothra.
Oh, fuck, I forgot about them,
Maybe they'll have a little Easter egg in there. Because, they did do that with Godzilla 2014. They had little Easter eggs in there. Maybe they'll have, some, twin Asian ladies at one point, point at Mothra and say something at the same time. I don't know.
I think this new what is it called, Monsterverse? I've enjoyed both films. I do like Godzilla 2014 better than I do Kong Skull Island, but I did like Skull Island though.
Yeah, and then that's going to be the next movie after Godzilla 2 is going to be King Kong versus Godzilla, which is going to be really, really interesting.
And that's next year.
Yep.
And then you know what? I have a feeling that this Godzilla is going to be successful. And then that one's going to be successful. So what's going to happen, Xander? More films for us.
Oh, yeah.
So I know we were talking about Aquaman, but if they go beyond this, what films, what licenses do you want them to buy for monsters from Toho? Who do you want them to buy from Toho?
Oh man, you know what? I just really want to see a freaking Gamera movie.
Okay.
Definitely want to see Gamera.
But Gamera's not related to Godzilla, right?
Right.
Yeah, right. Okay. But in the Toho library though. Like maybe Gigan or.
Yeah, a really crazy version of Jet Jaguar, like you were talking about, would be pretty awesome. I mean, they could even throw some like almost like Pacific Rim kind of feelings with Jet Jaguar. That'd be kind of cool.
You know who I would like to see?
Who's that?
Destroya or Space Godzilla?
Oh yeah, dude, I could see them doing Space Godzilla later on. I could see that happening.
Space Godzilla, and of course, but it's funny.
Or no, I was thinking. I'm sorry, I wasn't thinking of Space Godzilla. I'm thinking of Mech Godzilla.
Oh, Mechagodzilla.
I could see them doing that.
Because Mechagodzilla, if you think of the hierarchy, it's always been Ghidorah or Ghidra. Now I'm very torn between other people.
I know, we're going to have to like Google it later.
Yeah. Ghidorah, Ghidra.
Someone in the YouTube comments will correct me, so I don't have to worry about it.
Okay, YouTube comments, correct us.
They will. They probably already have. Dislike the video. How dare these people?
Okay. Now in the hierarchy of Godzilla monsters, they've got the big four, right?
Mm-hmm.
The one below that has always been Mechagodzilla.
Yeah.
So I think they could do that, but I like Space Godzilla too, though, even though he's lesser known. So.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, they could definitely do. I can see them doing Mechagodzilla later on down the line, especially with humans. Maybe they're trying to find out their own way to defeat Titans and stuff like that, because that's what they're referring to monsters in this one are Titans.
Nice.
So, but yeah.
And we need Gamera.
Yes.
So I guess that about does it then. I know we went on about Godzilla a little too long, but
no. I mean, we said what we need to say about Aquaman. I mean, it was a good movie. It wasn't the best DC movie by all stretch of means, but overall, I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't amazing either.
It was enjoyable. I had a good time, but there were some things that took me out of it.
I mean, it's one of those movies that I watched it, I enjoyed for what I saw, but if I don't ever see it again, I don't think I'll ever. It's not one of those movies that are like, you know what, let's watch some Aquaman. I really want to see Aquaman. I'm not probably going to do that.
I'd probably see it at least once more. I always give movies at least a second showing, unless it's called The Last Jedi. A go, so I could, even movies that I really did not like, I'll watch them again. And there's times I've turned around, so we'll see. That's just me, though.
Awesome. Well, guys, this concludes another episode of Blast Podcasting, and we will be back. Not next week, but the week after. We will be back, and hope you guys have a wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time you guys are listening to us. And as always, we'll be blasting off. Till next time.